Thank you. Can you see the timer?
I can.
All right, we can see you. We can hear you. Speaker number 3, Jeanie McGarvey. Reach. Reach. Jeanie McGarvey.
I was just 2 years old when I discovered I was short. There I was, sitting, staring up at the wall. Now, this was back before the age of flat screen TVs. Do you remember the real TVs, the one that had a box behind it? We had those when I was 2. And we had this wall that was made to put a TV like that inside. And then there was this row that had all of our DVDs and VHS players so that we could stack them all into the wall. It was so cool. And at 2 years old, I wanted nothing more than to climb to the very top of this wall. But I realized that I just couldn't reach. So I did what any mischievous 2-year-old would do, and I climbed it. I was just 2 years old when I discovered that to get what I wanted in life, I had to reach for it. And sometimes I even had to climb. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, did you know that there are 2 definitions of the word reach? There's reach as in the physical reach, like I'm reaching for you through the screen right now. And there's also reach as in arriving at a destination. I have to tell you that my entire life has been nothing but reaching and reaching. I was born with hand deformities on both of my hands. When I was coming out of my mom's womb, I first started to have the ability of knowing I needed to reach. I had to have surgeries to separate my fingers so that I could have more physical reach. And in fact, I'm 25 years old and I've had a total of 24 hand surgeries and procedures to get my hands to where they are today, functional and separated. And as you can imagine, throughout my life, I've had challenges. I had to deal with constant bullying. I will never forget the time when I learned about static electricity. No, I'm not talking about science class. I am talking about recess. We discovered that if one child stood at the top of the slide, sat down, and put their hands on the side of the slides and slid down, they could generate enough static electricity that if they touched one kid who was holding pinkies with a bunch of other kids, it would shock them all. It was incredible. Of course, I had to jump in. So I got into the line and I linked pinkies with someone and I was having a great time getting shocked until another girl my age, and at this time I believe I was in 2nd grade, she decided she wanted to join. She looked down to link pinkies with me and she saw my fingers, or lack thereof, and she ran away screaming. That memory will always be forever imprinted on my mind. But I got through it. If you couldn't tell, I have kind of a bubbly personality. So anytime I had a bully, I just reminded myself that one day I'll be their boss. But there were physical limitations as well. Things like riding a bike, writing, climbing the monkey bars, they were difficult. And I had to learn how to accommodate and do them differently. But I did. In fact, I was the first person in kindergarten to learn how to ride a bike. It was bike day, and everyone in my age group had training wheels. I look over at a girl in a grade above us with a 2-wheel bike, and I loathed her. I wanted so desperately to have her pink bike. And so when we got called away to go back to class, I stayed, mischievous as I was, even in kindergarten, and I just hopped on her bike and started riding. My parents were amazed. Did you teach her how to ride a bike? They asked my teacher. Nope, she answered. They had no idea how I learned, but I just decided to reach out and go for it. But as I've gotten older, certain things have become more challenging. The physical things, especially things that are repetitive, typing, writing, kayaking, which I love, all of them started to create this pain inside me, chronic pain where my fingers would actually lock up and be unfunctionable. And I would actually need assistance from others to be able to loosen the grip that my fingers had on each other to be able to use them again. This was very embarrassing. And I was so frustrated that I couldn't do simple tasks that everyone did so easily. And then one day, after I had gone to many specialists, a nerve specialist, a muscle specialist, a hand specialist, all of these doctors telling me they had no idea what was wrong, someone finally put a name to it. And they said that I had overuse syndrome, which would be easily corrected with prosthetics. So I decided to take the reach, and I got myself my very own prosthetic device. I just got this last year during COVID. So as you can imagine, I'm dealing with the craziness of life in quarantine, but then also learning how to use prosthetics for the very first time. But I took the reach, I took the chance, and it wasn't easy. These aren't things that I can just strap on and instantly be good at. This isn't a badge of honor that I wear the minute I get a new job. This isn't something like a bike where after a couple tries, you get on it and you know how to ride it, or for my case, you just do it once. I'm going to be in therapy for the next year and a half learning how to use these correctly. But it was worth it. You know that age-old saying, it's kind of cliche, reach for the moon. If you don't hit it, you'll land amongst the stars. That's cliche. Don't listen to it. The reason goals work is because you're specific. If there is something that you want to do, I encourage you to do it. It'll take work, but be specific. I had an obstacle that I could not face on my own, being able to do perpetual tasks over and over again without locking up. And I found my way around it. And I'm happier and healthier because of it. So whatever it is that is standing in your way, whatever obstacle, whatever goal you have that you're trying to reach, I encourage you to think about small steps that you can take to get there. And just like I have today, I want you to make the decision today to decide that you are worth the effort, you are worth the challenge, and by far, you are worth the reach. Mr. Contest Master.
Thank you, Jeanie.